It's sharing. And I've been transforming this into a LangFuse dataset, basically. The idea being that I have here all the metadata that correspond to the spreadsheet you just saw. And my goal is to actually automatize the execution of each individual repository. And so last week, what I've been doing and what I've been showing last week was the CLI tool in order to run experiment. And so it was mainly for test generation last week. And so I spent the week improving it and making it work for the Docker Compose version. And this means that previously what it was doing was only for one repository. It was testing and executing and generating test just for one repository. And so what I did there is that depending now on the metadata of the trace in the dataset item, I'm calling the repository into the benchmark example folder. And I'm starting the agent on this particular workspace. And so the CLI tool flow is basically cloning the repo, starting the agent. The agent will itself start the index, start indexing the whole code base, and generating the Docker Compose. And so by having the agent doing all those flow and my CLI tool capable of creating and cloning new repository, I was capable of actually running experiment on Docker Compose. So this is the logs of one of the run that I did on the experiment, and it showed up at the end. But what it how it looks like in the end is that you're seeing here that you can run an experiment using this command, uv run benchmark run, and you need to specify a YAML file that describes the experiment you want to run, and you can limit the number of item you want to process, because right now in this data set, I think we have more than 50 examples, so I didn't want it to run on all those 50 for now. And the idea is that when you describe an experiment, you need to describe the dataset item to give a name to a run, an endpoint that need to be called, a description for sure, the agent name that you are targeting, the input mapping, which is the input mapping to the endpoint. In the case of the compose, there is no necessary variable that need to be passed to the endpoint. And then a bunch of information there. And I introduced the ability to actually filter some of the item in the dataset using metadata. So I filter out all the big projects directly in there to only focus on small ones. Otherwise, it was actually crashing. And at the end, you can specify a bunch of evaluator that you want to run automatically on the traces output. The idea being that with just this file and the CLI tool that I built, you are capable of automatically running experiment on the Compose agent. And in the end, what it looks like in the LangFuse, you have access here to a specific run. Unfortunately, it all failed because I have some trouble with the Docker Compose status. But what you can see here is that it actually show you the trace that correspond exactly to the repository I tested against. So one of the repository in the dataset here is the run that automatically got created, and you see here at the end there's an error with a 400 error. So that I've been sharing that with the backend team, so they will be looking into that. But anyway, the idea is that the flow for the CLI tool to execute and run experiment is on the way, and it's actually capable of automatically doing the whole flow, starting from grabbing the right repository, cloning it, and starting the agent, and calling the endpoint in the agent. So all of that is working now. There's some tweaks around making sure the agent is completed before closing the item execution. I don't know if all of that was clear, but let me know if there is any question also. That's how it looks like.
Yeah, what problem you have with the compose status?
So the issue is that I am waiting for the Docker Compose status to be up, and it's actually never coming up. So sometimes it just loop forever because I didn't put any timeout in there, and so that's one of the problem because it just not able to actually um, complete the work, and so this issue could be fixed by saying let's have a status on the agent that generate the compose because that's what we actually care about. And we'll probably change this logic when we'll have the right endpoint that you build securely for executing traces only on one specific component of a pipeline. So we'll look into migrating that work. But the other problem that I have is the Docker Compose status is setting up to be in up status, but it's actually not up, and the agent is just trying stuff, and it basically stopped the whole CLI tool because he received the up status, and actually the agent didn't complete it, and that's why in my run right now you only see 4 of them when it actually iterated over all the 10. It's because it just stopped too soon, and the agent didn't have the time to complete the uh, the, the Docker Compose generation.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because the compose status is decoupled from the agent.
yeah, that's what I'm discussing with Jordan right now. But
Okay.
that's the things that are for now a bit problematic, quote unquote problematic for me, is because my agent, my CLI tool is closing too soon. Therefore, I actually not getting everything that I want there. And but yeah, there is still a bit of work that need to be done here.
Yeah, I'm thinking now we can add a status on the compose endpoint, on the compose status endpoint. We can add a field which is the status of the agent, um, or another endpoint which is like compose agent status. Um,
Yeah,
it will be
Uh,
good. That,
yeah, but
yeah,
we'll find the solution using the
yeah,
endpoint
yeah,
that you're getting to automatize it. That I think that will be nice. But that yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. There's progress being done there on the experiment run, and the flow that we come up with that basically allow us to code in Python and run in Python the data set, the LangFuse SDK, and all of that, and still having the agent being run in Kotlin so the team can continue to code in Kotlin is working. Like this flow here uh, is proven to be working, and the ability to find the trace is working as well. Now we just need to tweak a bit those different stages. And the last part here, which is the automatic evaluation, I guess I will let Michael talk about that. But just to give a quick uh, overview, in the CLI tool, there is the ability here to specify evaluator, and the idea will be that we'll be able to add LLM as a judge to automatically evaluate and give score and give classification on traces, which should be speeding up the annotation flow of those traces and speeding up the evaluation of our agent. So I will let Michael talk about that.
Wait, do you need me to go through certain things without evaluations at the moment, or can that wait until next week when we get things more nailed down?
Oh, I thought that's what you were working on the evaluation side. Maybe I misunderstood the demo.
No, I don't have any. I don't have anything ready enough to present.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what you told me earlier. I messed around. Sorry.
Okay.
I missed it. There was a discussion.
No. Although if anyone has any questions, yeah, you can fire them.
I mean, I can give some very quick example of what evaluator will be, but an LLM as a judge here will basically take the input and output of the trace alongside the expected output of the dataset and will try to validate if the output given by the agent is the right one, and he will be able to annotate the trace automatically for us as if it was a human annotating manually. The issue that this introduces is that we now need to make sure the LLM as a judge is working, and therefore we need to annotate the LLM as a judge, which is like this weird state where like you need to always have annotation at some point being made by human.
The judge has a judge, and the judge has a judge, and then it never ends.
Yeah. And in the end, it's OpenAI who is happy with that because there's
Exactly.
token being but so yeah, there is this part where we can use LLM to automatically annotate, but we can also write down some Python code that will be like checking the length of the output, or checking that the output is following a specific schema, or checking that the output contains like in the test generation, we want to always be sure that there is at least 3. And by doing so, we could code in there the actual length evaluator for the test generation. And this will speed up a lot the annotation, and we get able to get a sense of how many tests we generate, or so, whatever. And the flow of the CLI is really basic, but it's easy to just add more, and that's what I wanted to do. Is anyone in there should be able to use cursor to add a new LLM as a judge, or a manual, an automatic evaluation, and use that in an experiment. That's the plan here. That's all. Yeah, Maxi, please.
Yes, quick question. Like, is possible then to use this on a CI/CD to validate that we are not breaking anything that's working already?
Yeah, the idea is that we could use that in the CI/CD. The issue though is that we need to have the confidence that the LLM as a judge is right, and this is actually costing could be costing a lot of money as well as a lot of time. So I would actually prefer to have that being run on a pre-release rather than on a pull request based flow.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's the plan, to actually have those being run as well, like on daily or on pre-release, just to make sure, or like one day before the release, just to make sure will be the best thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, if we want to run like test on the agent on our CI/CD, there's like Cook has like some testing, so maybe we can like spend a little bit of time on that and set up something cool to like run.
Oh, what are those testings you say? Like Cook testing of the agent, like unit testing?
No, integration testing of the agent. Like you can run the agent on a test, and you can like test things. So yeah, maybe it's worth it like to spend a little bit of time in that, and set up like some pipeline to run tests.
And this is calling OpenAI. Like, can you mock the call to the LLM provider, or will this call the?
There are some tests that Jordan did, but yeah, like you can mock the, I think the inputs and all of that. Yeah. It's like cool.
Mocking LLM, excellent. Yeah. So yeah, the testing part, if it's about to mock the LLM, that's definitely interesting. But if it's creating tests for the CI/CD that actually execute and call OpenAI, I would not put that in my CI/CD because I did that in my previous company, and it was a nightmare because the CI/CD was taking like 30 minutes to run, and it was uncertain, and it was sometimes it was failing because you can't trust LLM, and sometimes you will get a JSON parsing error in one of the agent, and the whole pipeline will fail, and you need to test again. So that was a pain to work with. So we actually didn't remove that on our side.
Yes,
But we had benchmarking and evaluation prior to that. So we knew that this could happen, that the agent could actually sometimes fail to generate. So we had those statistics. So that's how we removed it. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Go.
Awesome, Antoine.
Very
And
nice.
Mike. Pretty cool. Who's next? Oh, sorry. One question for Antoine, right? I might have missed this, but you showed like the 10 code bases, right? Are they running sequentially or in parallel?
So yeah, unfortunately, they run sequentially because right now we don't have multi-workspace support at all.
What about I think Zorv does that. So Michael, it might be worth looking at Zorv because they were running.
Can you write it?
Yeah, let's say we've got a good relationship with the team at Zorv. But they were working on something that like can parallelize different pipeline runners.
I mean, it's quite easy to parallelize that. The
Right.
issue, though, is that we need to be outside of the Docker in order to do that. And I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise we need to have multi-instance running. I don't know if you saw the video of Cursor Composer, the video you sent. The guy was actually explaining how they did this pipeline for training, and they actually have multi-instance, like thousands of instances running Cursor in order to actually be able to parallelize all of that.
I saw.
That's our use case as well. If we want to be able to parallelize that, either way, we need to have the support directly in the agent, so directly in the backend, or we need to have multi-instances in order to speed that up. I think the plan is actually to have multi-workspace support in our product because people are working often with 2 or 3 IDE open at the same time on different workspaces. This will actually be a problem we'll be facing soon.
Yeah, interesting.
And as soon as we have that, and as soon as we have enough resources on our machine, on my case, it will be the case. But we will be able to parallelize all of this and speed that up for sure.